Hi all, this is a lecture on your cardiovascular system. The circulatory system transports fluid throughout the body. It consists of the cardiovascular and the lymphatic system. The heart and the blood vessels makes up the cardiovascular system. The heart pumps blood throughout the body through the blood vessels, and the blood carries nutrients, oxygen and waste products inside and outside of the cell. Now, our heart consists of two muscular pumps, dividing the circulation into two components, the pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. In pulmonary circulation, the heart pumps blood into the lungs for the purpose of oxygenation. And in systemic circulation, heart pumps blood to the body parts. And there are two major types of blood vessels, the arteries and the veins. Arteries are the structure that will carry blood away from the heart to the body parts, example the aorta, and the structure which carry blood towards the heart is called the vein, example the vena cava. The two sorts of circulatory system in the body are the arteries and the veins. Arteries carry blood away from the heart and veins is towards the heart. Now arteries do not have walls, but veins they do have walls, and these walls they ensure the one-way flow of the blood. Then the blood goes through the arteries under the influence of blood pressure, which is generated by the heart. Arteries and veins, they have hole in the middle which is called the lumen. Surrounding the lumen there is a layer of vascular endothelium. Let's discuss the layers of the heart. The layer of blood vessels lying inside is called the tunica intima. Then the middle layer is called tunica media, and the outside layer is called the tunica externa, otherwise called the tunica adventitia. Now, the larger arteries, they have an extra layer outside the tunica media, and this layer will be elastic. So it is called the elastic lamina. But veins, they do not have an extra elastic layer outside the tunica media. Then the smaller arteries, also called the distributing arteries, they have more muscles than the larger arteries. Now let's look into the anatomy of the heart. The heart is a hollow muscular organ which is located in the thoracic cavity, and we know our heart has four chambers: the right atrium and the right ventricle, and the left atrium and the left ventricle. The two bottom chambers of the heart are called the ventricle. So we have right ventricle on this side and left ventricle on the other side. Left ventricle has a thick muscular wall, but the muscular wall of the right ventricle is thinner than the left one. The left ventricle pumps blood all around the body through the systemic circulation. That's why our left ventricular wall is thick, because it needs a large pumping pressure. Then the right ventricle is pumping blood only to the lungs. Then heart has valves. These are the valves present in the heart. The main purpose of valves are to prevent the backward flow of the blood. The valve present between the right atrium and the right ventricle is called the tricuspid valve, and the valve present between the left atrium and left ventricle is called the bicuspid or mitral valve. And the valve which is present between the left ventricle and aorta is called the aortic valve, and the valve present between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery is called the pulmonary valve. And the aortic valve and the pulmonary valve, they point upward, and the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve, they point downward. And there are tissues which hold the valves in place, which is called the tendinous cord. And these tendinous cords are attached in the wall of the heart by the muscles. Then this structure which separates the heart as right and left is called the cardiac septum. And there are two large vessels flowing into the right atrium, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. The superior vena cava drains the top part of the body, and the inferior vena cava drains the bottom part of the body. And vena cava is the largest vein in the body, and aorta is the largest artery in the body. Next one is the layers of the heart. Surrounding outside of the heart, there is a fibrous sac, and this fibrous sac, it provides physical protection to the heart, and also it stops the heart from over expanding. And this sac is called the pericardium. The outer surface of the heart is called the epicardium. Then the lining inside of the heart, a thin lining is there which will facilitate smooth blood flow. It is made up of squamous vascular endothelial cells, and this layer is called the endocardium. The next one is a thick muscular layer in the middle, which is called the myocardium, and it is striated and is also called the cardiac muscle. Now, the physiology of the heart. So the blood coming back from the lungs comes through the pulmonary veins, and the blood is oxygenated. Our lungs will saturate blood with oxygen passing through them. And the blood from the pulmonary vein drains into the left atrium. From here, the blood will go to the mitral valve, to the left ventricle. When the left ventricle contracts, the blood will be ejected through the aortic valve into the aorta. From there into the small arteries and will diffuse into the systemic circulation. When the blood goes around the body, the tissues will utilize some oxygen in the blood, and this blood will arrive back to the heart through the vena cava, and it will drain into the right atrium. From there, the blood will go into the tricuspid valve and into the right ventricle. When the right ventricle contracts, the blood will be ejected through the pulmonary valve, and the blood will go to each lung. So that's the physiology of the heart. So that is the essential anatomy and physiology we need to know. If you like the video, please subscribe my channel, and thank you for listening.